Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lerret Gets Real. I'm your host, Lerret Jackson. As promised, here is my first episode of 2 for the week, Lerret Gets Ranty. And the reason it's so late is because, of course, I didn't like how it sounded, but I'm tired of doing that. So we're just going to release it. This is the final episode. It is here. And today we're going to talk about why we're all self-medicating. I came to learn about self-medication about 2 semesters ago when I was taking a therapy and meditation class. And I realized how prominent it is in our society and in our culture and in my own life even. How quickly and easily I'd rather make my problems disappear than actually dealing with them. So I'm going to talk about what self-medication is, why I think people self-medicate, and then I want to call you guys to action. I want you to think about ways that you self-medicate, why you self-medicate, and then think about ways that you can change those self-medications into more healthy or different things. For those who don't know, self-medication is a human behavior in which an individual uses a substance or any exogenous influence to self-administer treatment for physical or psychological ailments. So this wouldn't be a prescription or a treatment that a doctor gave to you. This is something that you found that maybe suppresses something that you're feeling or going through. It takes away the pain, maybe for a while, but mostly temporarily. It doesn't fix the problem. And more times than not, it becomes unhealthy because it's something that you continuously do. So it becomes a habit. So ways that people self-medicate are by overeating, oversleeping, over-exercising. People smoke weed every day. People drink every day. People look for love in all the wrong places. There's a bunch of different ways that people self-medicate. And there's no right or wrong way. It's not good or bad. It really is just something that is. I think that people self-medicate for a lot of different reasons. We go through different things and we learn to cope with them differently. But I feel like the reasons stem down to the same things. For starters, there's a get over it mentality in society. Like, I remember when I was riding a bike, I was maybe like 4 or 5, and I fell and I cried, and my father was like, shake it off, you'll be okay, like it's all right. Like he didn't want me to cry. And that's really what the world is like, it's just suck it up, get over it. We all go through stuff, like it is what it is. And that doesn't allow people to deal with the feelings that they have and understand why they're feeling what they're feeling. Maybe, of course, it's not, it doesn't have to be as simple as falling off a bike and getting a scratch or a scrape or whatever, but anything. Then something that I'm big on and I feel very hateful towards it, but I'll talk about that in another podcast, is schooling. When we go to school, we're taught to take a test over self-exploration. So we spend a lot of time learning about things that don't matter and that we don't care about when we turn 21 and 19 and 18. These aren't things that we talk about or care about. Instead, we're left to find what we like to do and what we're passionate about on our own. And then that's bad because we have a lack of knowledge and a lack of resources. When you're thrown into a world and not known where to look for help or how to start something that you want to do, or even what you like to do because you're kept learning how to take a test and not getting enough support and funding for arts and stuff like that, how do you know what you want? How do you go anywhere? How does anything go your way? So that leads to loneliness and boredom. You start feeling like you have a lack of support, you have a lack of friends, a lack of people to turn to, and you feel hopeless, depressed, lonely. So you start turning to other things. You start turning to drugs because then when you're high or when you're drunk, you're not thinking about the fact that nothing is going right. You're not thinking about the fact that you don't have friends or the fact that you didn't get that job. Instead, you're dealing with it a different way. So we spend a lot of time suppressing our emotions. We look for quick fixes. And instead of course, when we don't deal with them, they don't just disappear. They fester, they build up. And then later on in life, they just fester into different things that who knows what they turn into. So these are the ways that I think people self-medicate, why I think they self-medicate. Those are the main reasons. Depression, not having a passion, not knowing where to look for help, not having friends, being told to get over it, that it is what it is, not knowing how you feel, not understanding how you feel. Those are reasons you turn to other things. So ask yourself, what do you want to do in life? If you don't know, because a lot of people do have it figured out, but there's a lot of people who don't. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to do in life? What makes you happy? What would you do even if it didn't consist of money? What are you good at? These are things that help you start asking questions that maybe bring up things that maybe you don't think. And think about small things. No matter how small it is, no matter how stupid you may think it is, bring them up. Talk about them with yourself and with other people. Google ways to get into it. And I know it sounds cliche and stupid, but these are genuinely things that I do to try to look up to start anything. I mean, I didn't know about Podbean until I Googled how to start a podcast or like good outlets for podcasting. So here we are. Then think about ways that you feel and why you might feel that way. To start with right now. Take a second and realize how you feel throughout your body. Think about, do you feel a pain in your knee? Do you feel tingling in your shoulder? I don't know. Think about how you feel present. Then think about how you've been feeling for the past month or the past week. And then think about how you've been feeling over the years and notice trends and notice things like that, because that will help you start unpacking things that you might be feeling or you might have been going through, or things that you might have suppressed from years and years and years ago. And I know it's easier said than done, but try to replace those feelings for the want to self-medicate. It's unhealthy, turning to something and making it a habit. And I'm guilty of it myself, and I am actively working on it. So that is my little spiel for Lerret Gets Ranty. Self-medicating